All right, everybody, welcome back. It's a Muscatine Moment with Tony Tone Lokensoul with MPW, and I'm really excited. And for the first time in the history since we've been doing this show, we've got a person that's outside of Muscatine, but no stranger to a lot of us because maybe like me, you grew up with Kevin Matthews in your life. So Kevin is a legendary radio personality, comedian, writer, worked in Chicago, Detroit. 80s, 90s, 2000s. Someone that I listened to as a younger person, which doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it is. And now Kev is here because we're going to talk about something that's just remarkable. Broken Mary, the Kevin Matthews story, which is a documentary coming to theaters October 7th. And Kevin Matthews is here. And it's so great to see you, man.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you again. It is.
I was thinking about just Kev, our journeys in life, and I think what's been interesting is I've heard you say that there are no such things you don't think as coincidences, and we're kind of all meant to be places, and that rings true with me and my journey. I often say I was in the right place at the right time, but then it was on me to make a decision if I was going to change a career or move with my family. And that seems like it's been the case
Yeah.
with where you're at now versus maybe where you started out. I can't imagine 20-year-old Kev would think that you'd have a documentary about
No,
a Broken Mary statue in theaters, right?
no. Yeah, I did. That's so true. I would say you're high 30 years ago if taking a statue of the Virgin Mary around the country on planes. But it was meant to be. I just all my life I've always listened. I've never been afraid of change or and it was a time this is all God's doing. I mean, and I'll tell everybody for they don't know what's happening, but I did not go to Hollywood and pitch this. Hey, this would be a great movie. It's a time in the world where we're all broken, but we're loved by God, and God is just making sure every locked door just flies open and people are going to see this. People are going to know what's happening, and it started. I my hall to fame and is in 2011. God's called me to a dumpster, and I just had gotten fired from radio. The technology has changed, satellite radio, everything, and I was diagnosed with MS. So no pun intended, but I was really broken at the time, and I no such thing as a coincidence. I look up, there's a flower shop. I get out of my car. I'm going towards the door, and over to my left, I see a dumpster. And on the ground was this statue. I could tell right away. And I was born Catholic, so I could tell right away that on the ground, that's a statue of the Virgin Mary. And I walk over to it, and she is broken in half at the waist. Her hands are missing. She's sunk in the mud. There's garbage and weeds all around her. And that is when Christ, I heard the voice of Christ say, "Will you deny me? Will you deny my mother?" And it changed my life. And the story is, I went into the flower shop and I asked, the clerk said, "Hey, can I help you?" And I said, "I want to buy the statue of the Virgin Mary that's out by the dumpster." And she goes, "Oh no, that's a family heirloom. It's not for sale." And again, I hear this voice: "Will you deny me? Will you deny my mother?" And I, for the first time in a long time, I just closed my eyes and I'm not a good Catholic at this point. I'm a zombie Catholic, but no, you don't do that. You don't throw Mary, the mother of Jesus, next to garbage and in garbage. And I prayed. I said, "God, help me." And then what came out of my mouth was, I have no idea where it came, but it did. I said, "I'll pay money to nuns that live out around here in your name if you let me take it." And I have no idea what I'm even talking. Nuns, where did that come from? And then she recognized my voice and she goes, "You're Kevin Matthews. You got fired from radio." And I talked her into letting me have the statue. I put her in my car. I'm starting to go back to church slowly. And I called Father Mark. He's a good, I was getting to know him. I like him. I trust him. Said, listen, I found this statue of the Virgin Mary next to a dumpster. Where can I get her fixed? He told me. I went in the spring. Guy looks at her and he goes, oh, yeah, I can put new hands on her. I'll paint her. She won't even look broken. And that's when it really hit me. Everything, being fired, having MS. I just cried. I said, no, leave her alone. She's me. I'm broken. She's broken. Nobody wants us. She's broken, Mary. And just put her back together, two pieces, which they did. And the story is now two books written and a movie coming out October 7th.
It's just wild to me, when the first Broken Mary book came out, I believe it was 2017.
Yes.
I remember thinking, this is a fascinating story. I bought the book for myself. I read the book. I bought the book for my mom. You signed a copy for her. Everybody was moved by it. We went to an event in the Chicago area where you were speaking at, and you looked like you had a life-changing moment. And I don't mean that's such a weird thing to say to someone that you don't really know that well, but and you know this from what you did, and I do a little bit from 12 years in radio, is you were a part of so many people's
Yeah.
lives. So you kind of have this relationship, right? Like when I would call in to your show on CD 94.7 or whatever, I was like, I kind of know these guys.
Yeah.
And then I felt like, gosh, this Kev seems peaceful, happy. So can you just talk about that? Like
Yeah.
how it impacted you just as a human being? Because you seemed very at ease, and I don't even know if that's the right way to
No,
describe it.
it is because what had happened, I got the statue fixed, got her blessed. She stayed in my dining room for 2 years. I was podcasting then with Steve Dahl. So life was starting to stabilize. But, and I treated this statue like the volleyball in Castaway. Tom Hanks, I'm talking to this statue every day. And it's 2 years later, and Father Mark calls me and he goes, hey, don't you owe nuns money? And I go, yeah. He goes, they're I know where they live. Let's go out and have dinner. Bring the statue. I did. I went out there that night and I showed them the statue, told them the story, and then before I left, I said, we're all broken and we're loved by God. I have no, what that came out of my mouth. Father Mark drove home that night, said that would be a good homily. And he goes, would you please come to Mass next week, 7, 10, 11:30, and bring the statue, and I'll start the homily and finish it. We're all broken. We're loved by God. I'm telling them, but I also said, she doesn't belong to me. Take her if you're broken. And all three Masses, and people would take the statue and take her to intensive care or hospice. She's been with the most broken for the last 10 years. And people started to write about it and how life-changing it was. And that started the role of the books. But I today, for example, I was at St. Anthony's picking up Broken Mary because we're going to go on a big tour. And this woman comes up with her family, and her 15-year-old daughter just died. And she wanted to come and see Our Lady of the Broken before I took her. But so many people are getting comfort from Our Lady of the Broken or Mary in general, because Mary saw everything. She saw Christ crucified, and she is such a loving person. People think, oh, I've blown it. I've sinned too much. I can't go back there. No way. You go to the Blessed Mother. She's, when we were little, we get in trouble with our dad or anything. We always went to our moms, and that's what Mary does. She is personally will take you to him. So
It's been amazing.
I am happier. I'm
Good.
more at peace. I am Mary's roadie, and I made a covenant with Christ not long ago. I said, Jesus, you're my shepherd. I just want to be your shepherd dog. I'm beat up, I'm old, I'm sinful, I can't walk that well, but any lamb comes to me that strayed from you, I'll move him back without biting and barking. And that's what I'm comfortable. I get a phone call, Mary, let's go. Let's go to South Dakota. Let's go to Texas. I'm all over the place.
It's just fantastic. So Broken Mary, the book, first one, 2017, Mary's Roadie comes out in 24,
Yeah.
2024. And then all of a sudden there's this Broken Mary film. And I just want to mention again to folks, Broken Mary, Kevin Matthews story, October 7th in theaters, brokenmaryfilm.com. It's screening, by the way, Cinemark in Davenport, Iowa, 20 minutes or less from here, 7:15, and then VIP theaters in Moline, Illinois, part of the Quad Cities, 7 p.m. How does it go from book to movie? I mean, documentary is a big thing, Kev. Like that people
Oh,
don't have
it
documentaries
is.
made about them.
Even the book,
Yeah.
how does, I am published by the biggest publisher in the world. And again, that's God going, I'm okay, we're going to get you the best. And 6 years ago, I was speaking, and Eric, the president of ODB Films, he heard the story. And again, it's no coincidence. And he said, this could be interesting. And we stayed in touch, and they just finished it. And this world that I'm in is really small. It's like if you saw the Chosen, you know, Jonathan Remy and all those folks, and Mark Wahlberg and Jim Caviezel's and the Mel Gibson's. This small group is, and we're part of it, is just changing the world because there's such a desire, there's such a hunger for spirituality and God, and they made it into a movie. And I hope people see it, because it's not a movie about me, it's about us, because we are all broken and we're loved by God. We are. Look at just, I can't help but think, the world that we live in. And I think of, just more than a week ago, Charlie Kirk, and uh, we're broken, and so many have left God, but you're welcome to come back. Just come back. No one's gonna bite your head off. Nobody's gonna shame you. Just come back. And that's what I love.
The story is remarkable. And again, for people that are watching this, brokenmaryfilm.com, October 7th in theaters. What's that process like, though? You say yes to doing a documentary, because then a lot of it for you, I imagine, is you're back in some places that maybe you hadn't been in a while. If you're filming on location in Chicago, was it
Mhm.
easy to get people to want to participate? And then what do you think is going to surprise people about the Broken Mary documentary?
Yeah, it was great going back to Chicago. And Chicago is no question my second home. I mean, it's I'm back there all the time. And
Mhm.
um I to answer the question, I just think it's so relatable. And there's so, look at movies today. Everything's a remake. This is real. This is just, the reviews have been great. I'm very humble. I mean, I know it because I've watched this statue touch the life. I mean, the miracles I've seen. And it's incredible. I'm deeply embedded into my faith now, the Catholic Church. My church was built in 33 AD. And,
Wow.
you know, that's a long time. Christ
It's
built it at the cross at the Last Supper. So I'm in good company. He's done a good job.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I grew up in Elmwood Park and then Oak Park, went
Yeah.
to Saint Vincent Ferrer and River Forest and then
Yeah.
Ascension. And my mom's house was here and Ascension was
Yeah.
here. So you were never too far away from a
Right.
Catholic church. And there is something about for those that maybe are watching that are either not religious or not
Yeah.
Catholic, and to each their own, right? But there's just something about like a Catholic church that's been around for a while, like
Yeah.
you mentioned yours, but there's just
Yeah.
some it's almost like a little bit of a mystique when you walk in, especially if you haven't been back in a while, right? And for you, it was a number of years, right? So that
Yeah.
had to be,
Yeah. It
the
was,
roof didn't collapse when you walked in, which was good,
no,
right? That
no,
didn't
no,
happen.
no.
Yeah.
But again, the church that is really, of course, Father Mark, St. Anthony's. That's where I said, where can I get her fixed? And then, no coincidence, I met Father Josh over in Chicago, very young canons, and in 2019. We had a walk. She went on a bed of roses, the statue, down Chicago Avenue on a Friday night to the water tower, just getting the permits. Those were a miracle. And 8,000 plus walked with the Chicago Police Department, the fire department. So she went from a dumpster to a bed of roses, and that just changed everything. And I'm going tomorrow to St. John Cantius, where Mary's adopted church is, and I call these priests the Navy SEALs of priests. You know, they're just young. They're really great. This church was going to be bulldozed and they saved it. It's a 150-year-old beautiful shrine to God. And again, that was going to be broken and thrown away. The statue, everything, all this so-called garbage was going to be destroyed, and it's been renewed. And even Father Josh last week, they have a great attendance to begin with. But he said last weekend, after Charlie Kirk had died, young people are coming in, young families are coming in, and they did hundreds and hundreds of confessions. Young people just coming in. Good, come in, come in, come in, come in. So I'm amazed that I'm a humble part of this. Again, I'm Mary's roadie. That's it. I'm just waiting for a phone call. And it's amazing.
It's such a remarkable thing to see, again, from the books. And if people are watching, you can get Broken Mary, the first book, and then Mary's Roadie available in bookstores, on Amazon, and all of the places. Kev, what's the plan? So again, October 7th, Broken Mary, the Kevin Matthews story in theaters, Cinemark in Davenport, and VIP in Moline. What's the plan after the theatrical screening? Will it be VOD? Any physical copies available?
Yeah, I know ODB Films I know will stream this. I
Okay.
know that I'll go out and have showings throughout America, but I know that the streaming is next, and it's the ODB Films, man, they are really good. They're working on the Randy Travis story right now,
Wow.
and they've just done some incredible projects, and they're really good because there's a demand for it.
Yeah, it's really something. And I love that it's Eric Groth, right? Is that Eric's
Yes,
name? Yeah.
yeah,
So I was looking at Eric's biography, and life is just weird. Like he produced a film that Ethan Hawke wrote and
yeah,
directed, and I had met Ethan Hawke several years ago in Santa Fe, New Mexico. A friend of mine was getting married, and that they're filming the Magnificent Seven remake, and Ethan was super kind. And it's interesting when you look at all these through lines. Just a couple more questions, and then I'll let you go because I know you're busy. But for those people that are going to see this and that maybe have felt that cast aside, broken, and I have always said that everybody's got their issues and their struggles,
yeah,
but they're not alone. We know that mental health can be such a thing for people, and stigmas, and trying to get
yeah.
guys especially comfortable with talking about their feelings. What do you say to folks like that? What's helped you? Obviously, the Mary moment and that, you know, near that dumpster is life changing.
Right.
But how do you when you talk to people that are in a place and you can tell that they need some comfort, what happens? What do you go to?
I honestly, I go to Christ. I do, because look at what Jesus did. He died when he was 33 years old. The disciples are very young. They are a hodgepodge. I mean, some stutter, some, murder. You could pick a disciple that you might as well call your brother or yourself, your mirror. And Jesus understands that. He welcomes and loves the brokenness, the people with the worst addictions, the people that are castaways, the people that are told they're garbage, they mean nothing. He wants you just, you know, all you have to do is just say, Jesus, I don't know what to do. I take it, take every sin, take me, take me, take me, and watch what happens. And especially if you say, Mary, Mother of Christ, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to get to your son. Help me. I guarantee you, your life will change immediately.
So
Immediately.
yeah. It's so profound, and it's so good to see you and to talk to you. Kevin
Yeah,
Matthews,
it is.
Broken Mary, the Kevin Matthews story, October 7th, brokenmaryfilm.com. Um, you did radio for so long. You're so good at it. Podcast,
Yeah,
you met all the people, you've done all the things.
yeah.
Um, it is just a trip to be able to talk to you as
Oh,
someone that
thank
I
you.
and maybe you don't know this or not, and it's been a while since we talked, but I just want to share with people again, just some more connectivity. So I was supposed to intern for Kev in 2004 at
Mm.
WCKG, and they made the mistake of not taking care of you of the contract, and you left. And I felt
Yeah,
lost. I'm like, what am I going to? I had interviewed with Bonnie, your former
yeah,
producer, and I ended up still having an internship with Pete McMurray, who I got to know and got in
yeah,
touch with. But I just think about that my journey and your journey, and then
yeah,
everybody, how that connects. Everybody has a story, and I think you've done a great job of just being super vulnerable, sharing your story. You've probably heard a lot. I bet sometimes it's overwhelming. But I hope that you're just able to continue to do that and that people go see this movie. And because I know that they're going to be positively impacted by it. And you're right, everything in the theaters is either a remake or it's a superhero part 12. It'll be refreshing to see Broken Mary in theaters. Where are you? Are you going to see it in theater in Michigan? You got a whole bunch of
No, I've
people
got to go
going?
over to, I'm going to do an event over in Chicago. But
Okay.
then someday stay in touch because I would like to bring I would like to come and speak. Let's arrange that. And we
Mhm.
can bring Eric and we can bring the director and do a special event in Iowa with you. So, I mean,
Yeah.
let's stay close. And, you know, you are where you're supposed to be. Had you done the internship with me, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. We're supposed to be where we're supposed to be now. And, you know, you can, there's nothing you can do about your past. There's nothing, don't know if tomorrow's coming. It's right
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
you're where you're supposed to be right now.
We're recording this on Friday, September 26th. I'd be remiss. I don't know if it still happens, if Jonathan Edwards and Shanty comes
Yeah,
on as your old
yeah.
friends. It's just a
Which is
classic.
great. You know, I mean, that's a song that an icon that really got me into radio, Ed Buchanan.
Mm.
He was doing the midday show and he needed a short song. And he just pulled out this album, Jonathan Edwards. He looked out, it's like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And it's called, I think, yeah, it's called Shanty Song.
Yep.
And it's a perfect, here's the weekend, let's go. And I've been playing that since Ed showed me, they play this song at noon or 5 o'clock.
When I had my radio show here in Muscatine for those 5.5 years, I started playing that at the end of every show, and I would tell people as a tribute to you, to Kevin
Uh,
Matthews. And so many people had never heard of it, and it's just one of those things. And I do hope for everybody that's watching this again, if you like what you've heard, if you're curious, go to brokenmaryfilm.com. Your social media, whoever's doing the social, Kev, Broken
oh,
Mary Film on Facebook, they are all over the place. There's clips, there's trailers. Kudos to them. They've really got this thing
yeah.
out there
Oh,
in a good way.
they're the best. Phantom and just ODB Films and just
Yeah.
all our partners. They are fabulous. Again, this is that small little,
Yeah.
group of folks. And if anybody wants me to come and speak, you can go to my official. It's brokenmary.com.
Correct.
Brokenmary.com. So,
I will
and
I will pass that along.
I would like to come out and physically do something with you. I love Iowa. We used to go and bird hunt out in Iowa all the time. And
Yeah.
how I again, oh boy, you should have seen me during those days, man. Just well,
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got St. Mary's and Matthias Catholic Church, big Catholic church here in town. There's a movie theater right behind me,
oh,
Palms
good.
10. That's a Fridley Theater is a local family still in Des
Yeah,
Moines that owns these theaters. So we could
yeah.
totally
Let's
make
do it
something happen. Yeah,
because I
absolutely.
would love to do it, and we are going to do that. So go see it October 7th, and God bless you and your family, and let's physically get together soon in
Yeah.
the spring or whatever.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be there October
Good.
7th. Cinemark, Davenport, 7:15. BrokenMaryFilm.com for tickets. Kevin Matthews, take care. Be
God bless.
well, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, man?
Yeah, and I physically, let's do this. Okay, let's get together.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thanks,
my
Kev.
friend.
I appreciate it.